going to start by showing you exactly what the left-wing media did minutes after, okay, Trump's second assassination attempt. And I'm going to tell you what that was. They tried to blame him for it. Let's take a look.
There has been an unprecedented second attempt at Donald Trump's life. But instead of being concerned and empathetic for the presidential candidate, leftist media like MSNBC, CNN, and social media activists are using it as fodder to push their anti-Trump agenda. The first reaction of MSNBC when news came to hand about the attempted assassination was shockingly to blame Donald Trump in a huge show of gaslighting.
Well, Alex, remember back to the assassination attempt on President Trump's life and how, there was talk of a new tone, and then the Republican convention was, by Trumpian standards, muted. And it did seem like he was, just trying to take it down a few notches. But then by the end of his convention speech, we were kind of back to where we started. So I don't know how long this could, this moment of unity for the country where we come together and we say, I don't want any political opposition to be under threat of violence. It's not okay, any threat of violence.
Okay, guys, are you getting this? Are you getting this? So just let's, this is really actually shocking. Even for the left, okay? You're talking about the media on the left, okay? Consistently pushing this MAGA extremist narrative, okay? But when real actual violence occurs directed at former President Donald Trump, their coverage is this? It's shockingly soft or non-existent. Like, the man was shot again. This is, he wasn't shot again. He was shot at, or there was an attempt on his life again. Let me correct myself, okay? An assassination attempt, again, right outside his home. And this is what we get. I mean, can you imagine if this was Kamala Harris? Can you imagine if this was President Biden? I mean, let me just put it into perspective here, what I'm trying to get across here. January 6th, right? January 6th. Well, that will be a franchise for the left-wing media for the next 100 million years. At least the next 100, okay? We've been talking about this nonstop, right? The left-wing media, they just will not let it go. So let me ask you a question. What are the dates of the Donald Trump assassination attempts? Does anybody know? Anybody know the date of the first assassination attempt on Donald Trump, where he was actually shot in the ear, nearly in the head, and killed, and someone died at that rally? Do we even know the date of that? We know the date of January 6th, but we don't know the date of that? I mean, this is absurd. I'll let it continue.
We don't want. I would love for us to have a unity type moment, but I think it's probably going to be pretty fleeting, as we've seen in the past.
Sky News host James Morrow slammed this reaction, calling it appalling.
But what I do think is appalling is that some outlets, such as MSNBC in the U.S., have tried to somehow say that this is Trump's fault for his own rhetoric. And, this is just appalling here.
And commentators.
Thank God for him. Thank God for somebody with sense. I mean, are they kidding? They're blaming Trump's rhetoric? Are they nuts? Trump's rhetoric? This is what the left-wing media is doing. These are the same people that are calling him the imperial wizard of the KKK, Hitler, a fascist. I could go on and on and on and on. Are they insane? His rhetoric, have they forgotten about theirs? I mean, this is absolutely nuts. I mean, ABC, let's just talk about this. The debates, okay? ABC had the audacity, the utmost disrespect, okay, to not even bring up the first assassination attempt during that debate. I mean, is this some kind of joke? I mean, that proves right there the fact that they didn't bring it up. And Kamala Harris is the vice president. That's under your little regime, okay? You've got no comment on that? You've got nothing to ask her about that? Nothing. Really? Nothing to ask Kamala about how the Secret Service has nothing to say, how we have no answers for how that even really went down? Nothing to say at a debate on a literal assassination attempt, 1 dead, and the president shot in the ear at a presidential debate. Nobody questioned her at all. I mean, this just proves how the left-wing media wants you to forget about it. You see? They just want it to go away. They rewrite history as they go.
This is just appalling here.
And commentators on X agreed, saying MSNBC radicalizes mass shooters and then blames Trump. These are demons in human form. And again on NBC News, host Lester Holt was slammed by commentators on X for blaming the assassination attempt on Trump's rhetoric about Springfield, Ohio during the presidential debate.
Today's apparent assassination attempt comes amid increasingly fierce rhetoric on the campaign trail itself. Mr. Trump, his running mate J.D. Vance continue to make baseless claims about Haitian immigrants in Ohio. This weekend, there were new bomb threats in that town. Our Maggie Vespa is in Columbus, Ohio, with more.
Is this man nuts? He needs to be in a loony bin, okay? Lester Holt needs to be removed from media, and he should be sued for slander, among other things, okay? The things that come out of his mouth are mind-boggling. How dare he be a part of media? It's all opinions out of these people's mouths. They shouldn't be considered a news organization. This is nuts. I mean, let me ask you this. Where are the Nobel Peace Prize, hard-hitting, 60 minutes, worthy investigations into his first assassination attempt? I'd like to know. Are you kidding me? It's been 60 days. I mean, listen, I could put a show together for them in 48 hours. They don't. With all the writing teams and all the brilliant Nobel this and that and all these awards, all of this nonsense, all of these amazing people on the left, where is the 60 minutes episode on the first assassination attempt on President Donald Trump? I'll tell you where. It's non-existent, and it'll never happen. It'll never happen. It should have happened already, but that would be too good for the right, you see.
Ohio with more.
And over on CNN, commentator Patrick Bet-Davis slammed the network for its lackluster coverage of the second attempt on Trump in as many months.
It appears that around 2 o'clock, shots were fired at the golf course, possibly coming from the tree line, while former President Trump was playing golf. The Secret Service identified the direction, and the shooter returned fire at that gunman who fled. Witnesses were able to provide a description of an individual. And
now, let me ask you guys something. Does this not sound like an inside job to you? How did that shooter know where he was going to be on that golf course? Okay? No. You're not going to get away with that one. Okay? The Secret Service is corrupt. They're in on it. I don't care what anyone tells me. You understand? There's absolutely no way without somebody from inside letting you know where Trump is going to be, at what time, and around which hole. I mean, do you know how big that course is? How do you know exactly where he's going to be at that moment and have him in line of sight? To the point where they did tackle him, right? Producer, they didn't tackle him down. Okay, whatever. He was in line of sight. That's what they said. I read that. I mean, that's kind of nuts. Do you think? I mean, don't you think? There's no way that this is not an inside job at this point. And again, we have no answers. All right? No answers. Where's Kimberly Cheadle? Oh, yeah. Oh, really? She came into Congress and didn't answer one question. Oh, and now she's been replaced. Oh, well, didn't she get off easy? Where are the repercussions for this? And then you have some of the same Secret Service detail working again? Some of the people that we saw in those photos at the first shooting are back on his detail? Excuse me. I'm going to go with no. Yeah. Disturbing.
In a vehicle, we are told that a vehicle that is close to that description has been stopped by Palm Beach County police, possibly in Martin County, just over the line, and that they are holding that individual for the purposes of identification.
The commentator.
Can you imagine this guy is they're getting him in a trap. What is this, like that movie, whatever? You know that it's like an older with Robert De Niro and like this like my father's favorite movie where like the woman is like at the end, she's in her, he drives by in a traffic stop and he has no ID and he's like, and she's like, no, they're here. And like, what do we do? Are you kidding me? He got away and they're getting him in a traffic stop. Like, this is absurd. This is absurd. Ridiculous. We're a joke. People are starting to realize that our Secret Service is not as good as we thought. And that's scary, people. That's scary. First of all, Homeland Security, they're a part of Homeland Security now. Why are they even a part of Homeland Security? How is the Secret Service not their own thing? This is nuts.
The commentator said, "Are we becoming immune to assassination attempts on Trump? That's 2 attempts in 60 days. It's as if business is as usual." Daily Wire commentator Ben Shapiro agrees, saying the media is burying these assassination attempts.
Well, actually, somebody in the chat is saying that if it was an inside job, he wouldn't be alive. Not true. It could have been coming from the staff. You think these people are trustworthy in his staff? As far as I'm concerned, this campaign is, not doing that well right now. There's a lot of things that they are just not, in my opinion, a lot of things. Like, who's advising him on that debate? It was clear to me that somebody told him to go easy on Kamala. Okay, probably because it's going to seem like, I don't know, it's a woman, this whole go easy on a woman. Where is the Trump that we know and love that came at Hillary the way he did? Come on. This is absolutely nuts. I've never seen anything like this. I mean, I'm not saying I'm an expert in politics. I'm just saying it doesn't take anything much but common sense to see the things that I'm pointing out. It's ludicrous.
Assassination attempt against the former president of the United States and Republican nominee for president in about 8 weeks, which is insane. Obviously, this is unprecedented in modern American history. This many attempts on a candidate for higher office this close together. And that does say something about the environment in which we now live. First of all, it says, does anyone even remember the first assassination attempt? I mean, those of us who are on the right do, because it's become sort of an iconic video and photo. President Trump nearly being hit in the head by a bullet, somebody behind him being killed, him getting up and shaking his fist and saying, fight. That became an iconic photo of President Trump. But it's been largely memory hold by the media. In the debate between Donald Trump and Kamala Harris, it was not even mentioned once by the moderators.
Exactly. Good job, Ben. First of all, I'm going to let him continue, but I'm going to interrupt him briefly. He made 2 really good points so far. Do we even remember the first assassination attempt on President Donald Trump? Number 1. Number 2, it's like, how is the media trying to pretend like this never happened right now? Like there wasn't a second attempt. I mean, remember, when President Trump, that iconic picture that was on the cover of Time magazine and they took it down and changed it? What? Like, Time magazine is taking a picture of the former president and, okay, he wasn't yet the nominee, but the former president of the United States getting shot with blood coming off of his ear, and they're replacing it with something else on a cover of it. Come on. It's a it's a coup. It's a coup. Okay, I'll let Ben continue.
Moderators, anytime in that debate, it's basically been treated as though it never happened. Now, we all know that if somebody had attempted to shoot Joe Biden in the head, that would have been not only the biggest story in America that day, but for all the other days, because January 6th has now lasted for 4 long years. If somebody had actually come within millimeters of killing President Biden, then presumably that would have been the biggest story in America for months on end. It would have deeply and dramatically shaped the 2024 election. The same thing holds true if, God forbid, somebody had attempted to shoot, say, Kamala Harris.
Social media.
Now, he's so right. He's so right. Think about it. These huge media outlets, these institutions, I like to call them, okay, if this was Kamala Harris or Joe Biden, they would have uncovered every single detail by now. But because it's former President Trump, we know nothing, okay? That's the bottom line.
Kamala Harris.
Social media activists have also come out of the woodwork to downplay the near catastrophe.
Correct me if I'm wrong, but isn't hearing pew-pew fire in the red state of Florida as common as hearing birds sing? I'm sure it wasn't personal. Please don't flatter yourself.
And a close...
Can you imagine? This is the future, people. Take a look at it. That's the future. That's the future. Okay? Her. She is the future. This is who's voting. Brainless. Yeah, until that pew-pew fire was coming on you, girl. Oh, well, oh, sorry. We were trying to get the president, but we shot you in the butt. Oh, sorry. Oh, your chickens are dead? Your horse is dead? Well, my golly, sorry. I mean, shut your mouth. If that was somebody on the right, we'd never be hearing the end of that.
The biggest story in America that day, but for all the other days, because January 6th has now lasted for 4 long years.
4 long years. 4 long years. We've got all this in her. All right, here we go.
And the same thing holds true if, God forbid, somebody had attempted to shoot, say, Kamala Harris.
Social media activists have also come out of the woodwork to downplay the near catastrophe.
Correct me if I'm wrong, but isn't hearing pew-pew fire in the red state of Florida as common as hearing birds sing? I'm sure it wasn't personal. Please don't flatter yourself.
I just had to play it again.
And a close relative of a Democratic nominee also attempted to make light of the very serious situation, saying, "No ears were harmed. Carry on with your Sunday afternoon."
Look how disrespectful. No ears were harmed. Carry on with your Sunday afternoon. You ought to be ashamed of yourself. Okay, she's a lobbyist, by the way. This is what we're dealing with. These are the same people passing these laws to put plastic in the food we eat. Like, you can't even take your kids to McDonald's for a hamburger. It's ridiculous.
Australian Senator Holly Hughes has also called out the Democrats for their contribution to creating a toxic environment against Donald Trump, leading to threats of violence.
Just reckless rhetoric coming from the Democrats referring to President Trump as Hitler, as a danger to democracy. And it's always, it'd be interesting to see after the first assassination attempt, we did see that rhetoric toned down, and of course it's dialed back up again.
Well, there you have it, folks. There you have it. This is what the left-wing media is doing.